Tua Hao Myra sneered. Parhar, you truly are arrogant. I just wonder if your skills can match your big mouth. Bei Ming Feng was also speechless, having never seen anyone so bizarre that it left him confused and at a loss for how to react. Nguyen Tu Mao frowned in annoyance. These two men from the southern region were completely outside his expectations. He had been certain of victory in the arena, but now these two unpredictable characters had become the only variables. Zhu Yuqi looked up at the sky and asked, full of doubt, Brother Tu Mao, isn't this moon a fake? Why does it radiate such an astonishing moonlight power, no different from the real moon high above? Nguyen Tu Mao suppressed his personal thoughts and explained with a smile, although this moon is man-made, it is essentially a highly sophisticated lunar instrument, designed to absorb moonlight automatically through the array system within the complex. Its brilliance truly exceeds imagination. Furthermore, the key function of this lunar instrument is to forecast the scarlet moon. Everyone was bewildered upon hearing the phrase forecast the scarlet moon, with only a few showing traces of shock and surprise. Lai Yingxiao seemed to have remembered something. He looked up at the bright moon, his eyes filled with an inscrutable pensiveness. Nguyen Tu Mao continued, this relates to the origin of the name Scarlet Moon City. Although the moon in the sky is usually normal, there are special moments when, throughout the entire Tanwu continent, only those in Scarlet Moon City can witness the blood-red color of the moon. That is the origin of this place. The blood moon like blood. Can such a bizarre thing really exist in this world? Liu Wuxing exclaimed in surprise. There is only one moon, and its phases follow a cycle. I have never heard of it changing color. Since it is the same moon, the view from anywhere on the continent should be identical. Nguyen Tu Mao smiled faintly. Brother Wuxing's words are correct, but only the time when the eastern region's immortal realm, the ancient earth and desolate heaven, opens is the exception. Everyone was startled, as the name ancient earth and desolate heaven held too great an attraction and pressure for any martial artist in the eastern region. Nguyen Tu Mao continued his explanation. The Tanwu world has 4 great immortal realms with distinct rules. The southern region is Mount BunRv, which is restricted by age, making it difficult to achieve a breakthrough. The eastern region has the ancient earth and desolate heaven, whose appearance time is extremely obscure. The western region has the ancient mirror of clouds, whose location appears and disappears without any pattern. And the northern region has the Langhuan heaven, where only those with superior cultivation are qualified to enter. All 4 of these immortal realms are once-in-a-millennium opportunities, capable of altering one's entire destiny. Du Yuqi stroked his chin. I see. This King Feng Minju Tower is not just for showing off one's literary style or enjoying the moon, but its main purpose is to calculate the time the immortal realm appears, right? Nguyen Tu Mao laughed and replied, if it were outside of Scarlet Moon City, it would just be a piece of sophisticated magical equipment, but here, it is a priceless treasure. The ancient earth and desolate heaven does not appear suddenly. There are always countless anomalies beforehand, but they are extremely difficult to catch. Only when the anomalies reach the peak and the moon turns red can it be confirmed, but by then, it is already too late. However, this lunar instrument can collect anomalous energy to provide early warning. Du Yuqi praised, truly a masterpiece. I wonder how much early warning it can provide. Nguyen Tu Mao replied calmly, 1 month. Everyone was stunned by the power of the lunar instrument. With a full month of preparation, everything could be properly arranged, ensuring that the people of the eastern region would never miss an opening. Nguyen Tu Mao said, the 4 great immortal realms all contain opportunities. Mount BunRv in the southern region, due to its poor spiritual energy, had little value, and now that it has collapsed, it has inadvertently benefited Yanwu City. I fear that before long, Yanwu City will rise. But the ancient earth and desolate heaven of the eastern region is the most shocking event of the last century. At this mention, Lai Yingxiao suddenly spoke up. That is the incident that established the reputation of the heaven-destroying martial emperor, Du Feiyang. Nguyen Tu Mao was stunned for a moment and asked, how do you know that? Lai Yingxiao replied, Pu and the entire Tanwu world doesn't know about this. Everyone knew that years ago, Du Feiyang wreaked havoc in Scarlet Moon City, turning it into a river of blood, and the one that suffered the most damage was a Nguyen Klein. Nguyen Tu Mao's face went cold, and he said expressionlessly, the world only knows that Du Feiyang's ocular arts were unparalleled, but they don't know that he sees those crimson blood eyes from the ancient earth and desolate heaven in the eastern region. So that's how it is. Bei Ming Feng also said in a deep voice, I didn't expect that to be such a secret. Fortunately, that person has already turned into the dust of history. Nguyen Tu Mao coldly continued, it was indeed a bargain for him. Du Feiyang spent his life making enemies. Even if he hadn't died in the Tanding Mountain range, he would have been killed by others sooner or later. It is a pity I could not personally stab him to avenge our predecessors. Everyone was silent. Then Lai Yi suddenly laughed strangely. Parhar, where were you all hiding when he was alive? Only now that he's dead do you boast. Do you think you can kill Du Feiyang with just the likes of you? Even if the entire Scarlet Moon City joined forces, it is not certain they could have held him back. Everyone was terrified. This topic was a painful scar for the Nguyen family. Although they thought the same in their hearts, no one dared to voice it. Duh. Nguyen Tu Mao said angrily, gritting his teeth, you bumpkin, I have tolerated you too many times already. Don't think that because I'm easygoing, you can push me around. You can act like a king in the southern region if you want, but this is Scarlet Moon City. It would be best if you knew your place. If you provoke me again, don't blame me for taking your life. Lai Yingxiao looked at Lai Yi with surprise, thinking to himself, if he knew that Du Feiyang was actually me, I wonder if he would be angry enough to slap himself a few times. Because of his southern region background, Lai Yi did not fully understand the grudges between Du Feiyang and Scarlet Moon City, so he made unintentional sarcastic remarks, not expecting to cause such a violent reaction, which surprised even his own grandson. The atmosphere suddenly became tense, and then a clear, bird-like voice rang out comfortably, as she laughed and said, why resort to violence when the scenery is so beautiful? A ray of light flashed down from above, revealing among the crowd a beautiful woman with a graceful figure. She smiled gently and greeted, young Master Tu Mao, I am very sorry that I am late. Lai Yingxiao was briefly surprised. Wasn't this woman Jiu Dai, the head of the Mai family? It was only a pity that the 2 maids following her were not Mai Dong and Hi. The killing intent on Nguyen Tu Mao subsided. He looked coldly at Lai and said, out of respect for Jiu Dai, I will spare you this time. If you are not satisfied, wait until after this meeting, and we can settle the score whenever you like. If you challenge me, I will fight. Who is afraid of whom? Lai replied with a cold snort, his expression full of arrogance and dissatisfaction. Jiu Dai also spotted Lai Yingxiao. Stroking her chin, she remarked that she had not expected to meet the young master here, adding that with his ability, the throne was indeed well deserved. Nguyen Tu Mao and his group were stunned. Lai Yingxiao's strength was only at the level of a 6-star martial venerable, not to mention that his breakthrough was thanks to drinking the blood tea. If not for some tricks, how could he have sat in that seat? Lai Yingxiao smiled and said Jiu Dai praised him too much, adding that he had not expected the people of Red Moon City to be present as well, and it seemed there would be some worthy treasures to behold. He then asked how BunRv was doing lately, to which Jiu Dai replied that BunRv was doing well and currently in closed-door cultivation within the sect, though she always missed the young master. I am merely a wandering merchant, struggling my whole life to make a living, Jiu Dai said. Lai Yingxiao laughed and teased, Jiu Dai, don't exaggerate, or my reputation will be misunderstood in front of all these young talents. Nguyen Tu Mao grew suspicious because Jiu Dai's identity was not something just anyone could know, yet Lai Yingxiao not only knew her but also understood her very well. Moreover, the respectful look Jiu Dai gave him was completely different from how she looked at Nguyen Tu Mao himself. Seeing that everyone was still dazed and had not recognized Jiu Dai, he quickly explained that she was a family head of the Mai family, a world-renowned master appraiser. Everyone was shocked. No one had expected the Mai family head, traditionally rumored to be an old man, to be such a beautiful young woman. Jiu Dai smiled warmly and invited the young talents to support her Mai family's business more. Du Yuki praised that while the Mai family always maintained a mysterious aura, their appraisal skills were unrivaled, and their wealth likely rivaled that of the great sects, which explained why Lai Yingxiao said there would be treasures to see. Jiu Dai smiled and said that now they must see what rare treasures young Master Tu Mao would bring out for everyone to admire, hoping it would not be too difficult and make her lose face before the world. Nguyen Tu Mao laughed and replied, Jiu Dai, you are putting pressure on me. With that, he clapped his hands. Immediately, a person stepped out carrying a tray with a rusty piece of iron on it. Nguyen Tu Mao explained that this item had baffled him for a long time, but he felt it contained something extraordinary. Now, with Jiu Dai and all the young talents gathered, he hoped everyone could help him resolve this mystery. Jiu Dai's eyes contracted, and her delicate brows furrowed slightly. Lai Yingxiao's hands suddenly clenched, and his gaze turned extremely serious. He stared intently at the iron piece on the tray, his body trembling slightly because this item was identical to the piece of demon iron he had once picked up in the Barrel Bones land. That piece of demon iron had the true demon Dharma portrait engraved on it, and he wondered what other profound mystery this piece hid. Jiu Dai immediately noticed his unusual behavior and asked if young Master Yingxiao had figured out something. Lai Yingxiao merely replied that he was only guessing. What is the matter, Jiu Dai? Nguyen Tu Mao asked curiously, his face showing an odd expression. The fact that Jiu Dai proactively asked for Lai Yingxiao's opinion made him disbelieve that someone from the Southern Territory could possess such profound knowledge. With a very solemn expression, Jiu Dai asked where this iron piece came from. Nguyen Tu Mao replied that he heard it was from the Barrel Bones land, which was currently undergoing changes and losing its spiritual kite, and would soon become a dead land. Nguyen Tu Mao pressed her, asking what on earth the subject was. Jiu Dai only shook her head repeatedly and told young Master Tu Mao not to ask further, warning that the subject was extremely unlucky, should not be kept close, and was best disposed of as quickly as possible. Lai Yingxiao suddenly spoke up, asking to take a look. Nguyen Tu Mao asked suspiciously if young Master Yingxiao recognized this item. I'm not entirely sure either, Lai Yingxiao replied after receiving Nguyen Tu Mao's consent. He reached out to take the piece of iron, and his entire body suddenly began to tremble violently. This iron piece was identical to the demon fragment that had previously recorded the true demon Dharma portrait. Not only that, but a bizarre image was also imprinted on it, the exact giant demon shadow that always appeared behind the demon lord during battle. A wave of intense emotion welled up inside Lai Yingxiao, and he tremblingly uttered the words, true demon Dharma body. Excellent. Kill them all and seize the treasure. The demon head inside his body roared. Lai Yingxiao silently confirmed that there was no mistake. This demon Ayan was indeed born from the Barrel Bones land. Thus, the demon lord's cultivation technique that manifested the demon shadow must share the same origin as the true demon Dharma portrait. His face darkened as he scolded, this era belongs to the human race. We must resolve things through civilized behavior. The demonic dragon replied disdainfully, you actually dare to mention the word civilized. Folding the iron piece in his hand, Lai Yingxiao offered a gentle smile and said, Brother Tu Mao, how much do you plan to sell this for? Nguyen Tu Mao was completely dumbfounded upon hearing this. You went on to ask, young Master Yingxiao, what on earth is this iron piece? I planned to have Jiu Dai praise it today, so why did both of you show such terrified expressions? Is there something special about it? Lai Yingxiao smiled and said, it's nothing, just a rotary type of material. How about giving it to me? As he spoke, he was about to put the iron piece away, but Nguyen Tu Mao quickly snatched it back and sneered, although there is nothing special about it, I'm quite interested in this toy. Lai Yingxiao showed a look of displeasure and said, both Jiu Dai and I understand the state of this item, which is hard to explain clearly, but it is extremely important to me. Can young Master Tu Mao bear to part with it? Nguyen Tu Mao frowned and said, young Master Yingxiao, doing so shows a lack of goodwill. However, he wore a suggestive smile and said, everything can still be negotiated. Let's discuss it later. Lai Yingxiao sighed, knowing the other party intended to extort some conditions. He reluctantly replied, although this item is rare, I'm afraid only I can use it. I hope Brother Tu Mao will be more accommodating. Nguyen Tu Mao thought to himself that keeping this item in his hands could at least be utilized on the arena stage, and the only unpredictable opponent right now was Lai. He smiled and said, if Jiu Dai doesn't want to reveal its origin, then so be it. Now, let me introduce the next treasure that Red Moon City accidentally obtained. As he chanted a spell, he brought out a circular object. It looked quite primitive and mottled with rust, resembling an ancient artifact that had existed for a very long time. Ching He Mao commented, "This item looks like a freshly excavated artifact. Could it have come from the Barrel Bones land? Indeed, you people of Red Moon City really know how to obtain valuable things." Nguyen Tu Mao smiled, "Brother He Mao, you are exactly right. It indeed originated from the Barrel Bones land. Unfortunately, that mysterious place is now in ruins, and no one knows how many treasures remain buried forever underground." He held the circular ring high in front of Jiu Dai. Her eyes suddenly narrowed as she gasped in surprise. This item seems to be a genuine 9th-tier array weapon, and certainly not an ordinary one. Could it be a Marher ancient weapon? Lai Yongxiao narrowed his eyes and asked in a low voice, "Jiu Dai, what is a Marher ancient weapon?" Jiu Dai smiled faintly. "Even with Brother Yongxiao's vast knowledge, it is not strange that you don't know about Marher ancient weapons. This kind of thing has now been lost to time, and the remaining quantity is extremely scarce. A long time ago, there was a writing system called the Marher ancient script, which contained the truths of the great Tao of heaven and earth. Ancient artifact refiners often carved these characters onto profound weapons to upgrade the power far beyond ordinary levels. These weapons were known as Marher ancient artifacts." Lai Yongxiao was astonished. So his hammer was indeed the legendary Marher ancient artifact. The golden characters on it must be the Marher ancient script. It turned out its origins were truly formidable. He definitely had to find an opportunity to ask Ninth Dan clearly about the secrets surrounding them. Each character contains the profound philosophy of the universe. "That sounds a bit exaggerated," Yuan Zhen replied with a smile. "Although there are many unbelievable stories and legends, they aren't deified to that extent. After all, antiques are always somewhat special." Everyone still looked skeptical. Ninth Dan did not explain further but only smiled. Those who understood the Marher ancient script could now be counted on one hand, and even if they did, it was only a few scattered words. This ring was truly a priceless treasure. From what I can sense, this is a profound artifact that specializes in illusion. I wonder if that's correct. Yuan Zimu nodded in surprise and admiration. As expected of your reputation, this formation artifact indeed contains the Tando projection illusion, capable of seeing through the 5 aggregates and deciphering the 12 links of dependent origination, greatly assisting cultivators in comprehending the Tao. "Oh, is it that powerful? Isn't this a top-rate auxiliary treasure for cultivation?" Ching He Mao exclaimed in admiration. "I just don't know what its specific effects are." Yuan Zimu smiled mysteriously. "As for its effects, everyone will understand once you try it." He raised the Tambo projection, and from the moon dial, a brilliant beam of light suddenly erupted, completely enveloping the ring. The surface of the dial, which was originally covered in a thick layer of rust, was instantly cleansed of all dust under the mystical moonlight, revealing its inherent, exquisite beauty. On the surface of the dial, rows of golden tableau characters danced endlessly, creating an extraordinarily grand scene in midair that completely eclipsed the brilliance of the wind and moon pavilion. While everyone was still dazed, the surrounding scenery began to distort. The illusion formation had activated, and reality gradually faded to make way for each person's deepest obsessions and inner demons. Facing this wondrous formation, Lai Yongxiao maintained a steady mind, his eyes intently observing each golden character shifting on the dial. The scene was identical to his Einhammer. It seemed that everyone present, including himself and Ninth And, was falling into the illusionary realm created by Yuan Zimu. Lai Yongxiao glanced at Yuan Zimu with a probing look, thinking to himself, this guy isn't planning to use this trick to launch a surprise attack on all his opponents, is he? If so, that would be incredibly foolish. Right at that moment, Lai Yongxiao also began to lose himself in the illusion. The surrounding space grew hazy, and a person suddenly appeared before him. It was his own self, looking back at him with a chilling gaze. Located at the very center of the most prosperous part of Red Moon City, the majestic city lord's mansion resembled a fierce tiger crouching and waiting for its moment. In the grand hall of the mansion, only 2 people, a man and a woman, were quietly observing the situation through a water screen. The man, dressed in a black robe, with an otherworldly demeanor, said in a deep voice, "Panyu, is Zimu's action like this really alright? If other forces find out about it, what face will our Red Moon City have left?" The beautiful woman beside him slightly moved her red lips and softly replied, "Even you, husband, cannot detect the imprint of the Tambo projection. How many people in this world have the capability to see through it and spy on us? Even if, in the worst case scenario, it were to be detected by others, we could just blame it all on the mystery of the ancient profound artifact, which inherently far exceeds the comprehension of ordinary people. So, who could blame us?" The beautiful lady was indeed the Jiang family's matriarch, Yuan Hanyu. She smiled faintly. On the contrary, the benefits to be gained from this are immense. Zimu is the young leader of the Eastern Domain's Junlin and possesses the Tambo mirror. Her will dare to oppose him in the future. The title of the number 1 person of the younger generation is firmly in his grasp. Marrying Yuobin to him is a wise decision. Jan Churin stared at the water screen and said coldly, "Zimu indeed has outstanding talent and temperament, with a bright future ahead. However, the title of number 1 person sounds heady. Who would dare to claim it for themselves? You shouldn't praise him too much. Regarding Yuobin's marriage, I have promised to let it be decided through an arena competition. So, if he wins, I will absolutely keep my word." Yuan Hanyu smiled brightly. "Then, husband, just wait and see Zimu's strength. The geniuses of the world are but ordinary before him." Jan Churin said indifferently, "Zimu is naturally cautious. Once he acts, he is always fully prepared. If I am not mistaken, the moment he came here with Beiming Leifeng and Cheng Haimao, he had already subdued those 2. Even if he was just taking advantage of the situation, I highly appreciate such shrewdness." However, Jan Churin hesitated for a moment and said, "However, the affairs of the world are like a game of chess, and situations change unpredictably. If he remains complacent and absolutely sure of victory, there will surely come a day when he suffers a crushing defeat." Yuan Hanyu repeated in astonishment, "A crushing defeat? Aside from the Beiming family and the soul-devouring valet, the only ones in this world who can threaten Zimu are Zhu and that Southern Domain Martial Emperor, Mucky. But I think although those 2 are decent, they are still far inferior to Zimu." "The Southern Domain Martial Emperor, Mucky?" Jen Shuren sneered. This monkey does not have an ordinary background at all. Accompanying monkey are 3 martial emperor experts. One is from the demon race who is proficient in secret arts, and the other 2 belong to the 8 statues of the death god. I didn't expect him to target my Red Moon City. Yuan Hanyu panicked. The 8 statues of the death god? Could it be that person behind them? Jen Shuren nodded. Although I do not fear that person, making an enemy of him would indeed be a great catastrophe. Unless Simu can defeat Lai in public, winning by other means would only pose a hidden danger for him. Losing her composure, Yuan Hanyu said anxiously, I will instruct Simu immediately. That person acts unpredictably, only cares about his goals, and stops at nothing. He is truly more terrifying than anyone. If targeted by him, it is indeed like being clung to by a hungry leech. Jen Shuren looked at the water screen and suddenly said, let's not talk about the death god for now. I'm just wondering why the city lord of Yanwu City, despite having only a 6-star martial honor cultivation, always makes me feel that something is highly unusual about him. Yuan Hanyu sneered. This man is indeed very cunning. This time, he actually allowed 2 people to sit on the throne, which caught everyone off guard. The person who was initially assessed as just an ordinary 6-star martial honor has created an unexpected turn of events. Jen Shuren shook his head, saying it wasn't that simple. His vision had now reached an extremely high realm, and very few people could catch his eye. But haven't you noticed that Yuamai has gotten thinner these past 2 days? Yuan Hanyu looked at her husband in surprise and said in a resentful tone, so it turns out you actually know how to care for our children. I thought only Jang Yuobing existed in your heart. Her nose tingled, and she choked up as she continued, that foolish child, I don't know where she learned those bizarre secret weight loss techniques. Even though she knows they are useless, she still stubbornly practices them. Seeing her state of mind makes my heart ache as a mother. I only wish I could bear all the pain for her. Jen Shuren pondered and analyzed. Her weight loss method was originally an ordinary method, but it never showed any effect before. It only started to change after she met Lai Yingxiao. Yuan Hanyu guessed in shock. How is that possible? Yuamai's curse mark can only be dispelled by Du Feiyang's pupil technique. This was confirmed by Master Lu Tanzi. Could it be that Lai Yingxiao was taught the pupil technique by Du Feiyang? Jen Shuren shook his head slightly. Panyu, we both understand that the key lies within the moon eye itself, not in any secret eye techniques. Apart from Du Feiyang, no one else can do it. Yuan Hanyu's eyes were filled with hatred and resentment. Whenever she thought of Du Feiyang and her poor daughter, waves of uncontrollable unease surged within her. Yuan Hanyu gritted her teeth and spoke with hatred. Du Feiyang died too easily. If this Lai Yingxiao has any connection to him, it is truly a heaven-sent opportunity for me to seek my revenge. Jen Shuren gently advised. Du Feiyang has passed away. Let the past rest. Everything is over. Moreover, back then when he returned from the end of the earth, the moon eye disturbed his mind, forcing a burst of evil nature that made it hard to distinguish right from wrong. The killing wasn't his intention. Moreover, the solution to Yuamai's curse seal is still in his hands. Yuan Hanyu angrily interrupted. I don't care. My family's near destruction years ago was caused by him alone. The humiliations Yuamai has endured over the years are also because of him. Even without Lai Yingxiao, we already have clues about the heavenly silk. Once the end of the earth opens again, we will surely find a way to break the seal for her. Jen Shuren sighed. A clue is just a clue. Whether the heavenly silk can be found is still an unknown. Even if we do find it, I'm afraid it would be difficult to control because its power is even more terrifying than the moon eye. Years ago, after Du Feiyang obtained the moon eye, he became violent, only managing to suppress its evil nature to become a martial sovereign after acquiring 5 secret eye techniques. Even I'm not sure if I can control the power within the heart of Red Moon City. Yuan Hanyu sulkily turned her face away. She gave a bitter smile. You are the Lord of Red Moon, leader of the East, with a status worth thousands of pieces of gold. Controlling the heavenly silk doesn't need your interference. Yuamai is my daughter. Let me handle this myself. Jen Shuren's expression remained calm and devoid of emotion. After a long while, he sighed. Panyu, do you still blame me for not going to find Du Feiyang for revenge back then? Yuan Hanyu thought to herself, I wouldn't dare. Back then, you were the young city lord who hadn't officially succeeded the old one. The people of Red Moon City fully supported you. Moreover, I know very well that when the Ling and Jade Realm opened, the old lord strictly forbade you from coming into conflict with Du Feiyang. The old lord made a wise decision. There was originally no grudge between Red Moon City and Du Feiyang, only our family's personal vendetta. There was no need to drag the entire city into it. If not for that wisdom, how could Red Moon City have its current glory? Jen Shuren looked at his wife's suffering face and suddenly sighed. I'm sorry, Panyu. Actually, I disobeyed the old lord's orders. Yuan Hanyu was stunned, staring blankly at him. Jen Shuren continued. At Ling in Heaven that year, I personally went to find Du Feiyang. He chuckled coldly and said, I'm sorry, I have lost. Yuan Hanyu was shocked. Her beautiful eyes quivered as 2 lines of hot tears slowly rolled down, filled with bursting emotions. Just those 3 simple words, I have lost, made a matriarch like her burst into tears like a child, bending all of her unsuppressed sorrow. Jen Shuren continued in a low voice. I'm sorry I couldn't seek revenge for you. But Yuamai is our flesh and blood. Even if I have to sacrifice my life, I will definitely save her. Recalling more than 10 years of stubbornness and misunderstanding, believing her husband was a coward who feared death and dared not protect his family from Du Feiyang, resulting in this separation in different rooms without true understanding, Yuan Hanyu choked up. I'm sorry. I have misjudged you all these years. It was all due to my selfishness and rigidity. Yuan Hanyu felt all old grievances vanish like smoke. Now, the most important thing was to cherish the person before her. She said softly, ancient books record that the heavenly silk is formless and intangible, formed by gathering the essence of heaven and earth, making it very difficult to control. I don't want you to take risks. If Lai Yingxiao has a way to help Yuamai, he surely has a plan. Jen Shuren affectionately comforted his wife and replied gently, whether being the city lord or holding worldly power, I only desire for my family to be happy together. With my wife untroubled and our children healthy, that is enough for me in this life. Yuan Hanyu wiped her tears, pressed her beautiful face against his chest, and whispered, my husband is a great leader. Few am I, Yuobing, all of Red Moon City, and I all rely on you. Do not let us down. Jiang Shiren laughed heartily. With you and the children by my side, no one in this world can take me down. He felt a surge of heroism in his chest. The barriers between the husband and wife over many years were completely removed, replaced by passion of love. In a space outside the clear breeze moon tower, Lai's expression suddenly changed. She whispered, everyone has fallen into an illusion. Do I need to step in and break it? Zyro Bar asked in surprise. Sister Lai, can you do that? She replied, breaking it isn't easy, but it won't trouble me. No, you can't. The golden-winged heaven-crushing tiger intervened. All the young heroes are gathered here. Red Moon City wouldn't dare cheat them. Yuan Zimu must have his own intentions for performing this technique. If we interfere arbitrarily, we will be ridiculed. Lai replied coldly, my responsibility is to protect the host completely. Pride or the gossip of the world is of no concern to me. Heaven-crushing tiger laughed and said, this is Red Moon City. A little monster race girl like you surely knows its reputation. The 7 great human forces could send any expert to annihilate the 3 of us in an instant. If they truly intended to harm Lai Yi, no one could save him. Zyro Bar agreed. Senior heaven-crushing tiger is right. Let's just observe silently. Even Red Moon City must show some respect to the leaders. Moreover, many young talents with strong backings are gathered here. They surely wouldn't dare cause trouble. Ning Hangfeng and the group of martial sovereigns stood silently in the air outside the garden, as if ignoring what was happening inside. Lai thought for a moment and then said, alright, let's do that. Those hiding nearby haven't made a move yet. Let's continue to wait and see. Inside the illusionary space, Lai Yingxiao was competing against a duplicate of himself, except this imposter's strength was 1 level higher than his, forcing him into a passive position constantly. Lai Yingxiao pondered and muttered, Yuan Zimu once said that the heavenly ripple reflection can illuminate the appearance of the 5 scanders. Could this person before me be the incarnation of my 5 scanders? No wonder I don't feel any sense of abnormality at all. As soon as the intention arose, his moves were unleashed, and his opponent mimicked the exact same techniques. Both charged into a fierce confrontation, and before long, they had exchanged hundreds of moves. The 2 figures continuously collided, and the sounds of heavy impacts echoed incessantly throughout the space. Lai Yingxiao pointed with a finger, and a bone coal sword appeared. His opponent also directly soared into the air, using a finger instead of a sword to unleash 10,000 sword rays in an instant. With each beam of light pouring down like torrential rain, Lai Yingxiao felt extremely frustrated. It seemed that no matter what tricks he employed, his opponent knew how to reciprocate in exactly the same way. After observing carefully for a while, he finally understood the function of the heavenly wave mirror. It was originally a supplementary artifact for cultivation, specializing in reflecting the user's 5 aggregates. It seemed the only way to break out was to defeat this fake duplicate. He pressed his palms together, and heaven and earth immediately underwent an abnormal change as wind and clouds from all directions billowed in. On the opposite side, the opponent also exerted their full strength to mobilize their power. Both unleashed the great cloud wind palm simultaneously, their hands colliding violently in the void. Surprisingly, the opponent's power was even superior to Lai Yingxiao's. Lai Yingxiao clearly felt the recoil through his palm, and his expression flickered for a moment. His body quickly recoiled, as a previous palm strike had predictably been shattered by the opponent's more powerful attack. Despite using the same technique, the impostor was a notch higher, forcing Lai Yingxiao into a defensive position. However, his gaze grew increasingly radiant. Apparently, the best way to dispel the illusion was to use pupil techniques, but the risk was far too great. If Red Moon City's people discovered it, there would be huge trouble, and even the divine steel could not be used at will, as it was as problematic as exposing the moon eye. If that was the case, then he would take this opportunity to cultivate in seclusion for a while. A bright spark flashed in Lai Yingxiao's eyes. He formed a seal with one hand, and countless black demonic patterns immediately spread across his body. 2 more heads emerged from his back, and the 3-headed, 6-armed true demon appearance gradually manifested. Since the moon eye could not be easily displayed in Red Moon City and the divine steel was a hidden card that must not be shown to these experts, he had nothing else to fear beyond those 2 things. Let's play.